Bonjour, les étudiants of class 10. So, hope you're doing good. Okay, so welcome back. So, today's class will start a new lesson. Okay, lesson 4, lesson 4, la santé. Okay, la santé, which means the health. Okay, or the health condition, health. So, we say la santé. So, the same exact format of exercises and translation. 2 dialogues to be translated to English, 5 question answers, 10 grammar exercises, and then 3 composition. Okay, so then we'll have opposites. We'll see that after the exercises. So as you know, we'll start with the grammar exercises of each and every lesson. So this lesson's grammar is really simple. It's passé composé and imparfait. Okay, passé composé we already saw, and imparfait even. Anyway, we'll do a small revision of imparfait, but today we'll be just seeing the exercises of passé composé. Right? So the first 3 exercises we'll be doing with passé composé. You can first try, okay, by your own, then you can check the answers if it's correct or not. Right? And so now let's get into the slides. So voilà. Leçon 4, la santé. Leçon 4, la santé. So as I told you, la santé, which means the health. Okay, so about the health conditions, health. So we'll be seeing in this lesson. So the contents, the grammar parts, it's actually passé composé and imparfait. The most important things in this lesson will be passé composé and imparfait. So passé composé, we saw it a number of times, right? Okay, so you won't be having much trouble. So we'll directly go to the exercises. So the first exercise, mettez les verbes au passé composé à la forme négative, suivez le modèle. So, mettez les verbes au passé composé. You got to put the verbs in passé composé à la forme négative, but in negation. Oui. Suivez le modèle. So, follow the model, follow the example. So, they have given an example. Okay, so example, you can see l'élève, the subject. Okay, the subject, it's given outside the bracket, l'élève. Then inside the bracket, they are given apprendre par cœur le poème de Verlaine. Apprendre, it's the verb. Par cœur, le poème de Verlaine. It's actually the object. So the verb apprendre, it's given in infinitive form. Okay, you can see the verb apprendre, it's given in infinitive form. So you got to take that verb. Okay, you got to check if it should be conjugated with avoir or être. Okay, if it's a part of Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams or not. So then you get the past participle, then you conjugate it with the auxiliary. So apprendre, it starts with the A, the letter A. So you go to check it with Dr. Mrs. Van der Tramp's list. Okay, so there are 2 verbs in the list, which is aller and arriver. Okay, not apprendre. Okay, if the verb it's not in the list, then you got to conjugate it with avoir. L'élève a appris. So we conjugate it with avoir, a, and the past participle of apprendre, it's appris. Same way like prendre, comprendre, apprendre. So we'll be having P-R-E-S. Okay, appris will be the past participle. We conjugate it with avoir. So l'élève, it's third person singular. So we conjugate l'élève a appris par cœur le poème de Verlaine. So then you got to change it to negation. So when you're changing it to negation, so the ne and pas will be placed before and after the auxiliary. Auxiliary verb. Now mind if it's avoir or être. Oui. L'élève n'a pas appris par cœur le poème de Verlaine. So the student did not learn by heart, par cœur, which means by heart, the poem of Verlaine. Okay, so Verlaine is a poet. So now we'll go for the sentences in the exercise. So we got 5 sentences. Le pharmacien, the subject. Demander, une ordonnance. Demander, it's the verb. Une ordonnance is the object. So le pharmacien, the pharmacist. Demander, to ask. Une ordonnance. Okay, une ordonnance, which means a prescription. Okay, a prescription from the doctor. Oui, c'est ça, une ordonnance. So demander. So the verb demander, you got to check in Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams. So you got a D, and 2 D's will be there. One is devenir. So devenir, to become, and the other one is descendre. The other one is descendre. Okay, so not demander. So the verb demander will be conjugated with the auxiliary avoir. So now we have chosen the auxiliary. Now we go to find the past participle. Okay, so the verb demander ends with er. So finding the past participle, it's not that big problem. Okay, you cut r, add an accent over the e. Okay, so le pharmacien a demandé une ordonnance. So now you got to change it to negation. Le pharmacien n'a pas demandé d'ordonnance. So when you're changing it to negation, win changes to de, and here ordonnance starts at o, and so it will be d apostrophe. Oui. Le pharmacien n'a pas demandé d'ordonnance. So the pharmacist did not ask for any prescription. Oui. So the second one, le cabinet de docteur accepté, pardon, le cabinet de docteur accepter la carte de crédit. Le cabinet de docteur, which means the doctor's cabinet. Okay, so the doctor's cabinet or the clinic. Okay, so le cabinet de docteur, which means the clinic or the doctor's cabinet. Accepter la carte de crédit. Accepter the verb, la carte de crédit is the object, the credit card. So now the verb accepter. Okay, as we already checked for the letter A, it's actually arriver and aller. So accepter, it's not in the list of Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams. So we go with avoir. Le cabinet de docteur, it's third person again. So le cabinet de docteur a accepté. The past participle of accepter, it's accepté. You cut R, add an accent over the E. A accepté la carte de crédit, the credit card. So now you change it to negation. Le cabinet de docteur n'a pas accepté la carte de crédit. So the clinic did not accept the credit card. Oui, voilà. So the third one, vous, the subject, avoir de la courbature. Okay, so avoir de la courbature. So courbature means some ache. Okay, so some pain or ache. So some stiffness. Oui, voilà, c'est ça courbature. Vous avoir de la courbature. So the verb given, it's actually avoir. So the past participle, it's important for the irregular verbs. So the past participle of avoir, it's eu, eu. Okay, eu, it's the past participle of avoir. The verb avoir will be conjugated using the auxiliary avoir. Okay, so vous avez eu de la courbature. Okay, vous avez eu de la courbature. So now in negation, vous n'avez pas eu de courbature. So de la even changes to the. Okay, even de la will be changed to the. Same way like the first sentence, win changes to the. The third sentence, de la changes to the. Okay? So vous n'avez pas eu de courbature. So you did not have any pain. Okay, so the last before one, mes grands-parents prendre régulièrement les médicaments pour le diabète. Okay, so my grandparents, prendre, which means to take, the verb, régulièrement, regularly, adverb, les médicaments pour le diabète, the medicines for the diabetes. Okay, diabetes we call sugar or diabetes. Oui, so voilà. So mes grands-parents, it's the subject. Pardon. Prendre, okay, the verb prendre. And if you check with Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams, so the last P, okay, will be partir and passer. So not prendre, okay, not prendre. So it's conjugated with avoir. Okay, so prendre, the past participle, it's pris. Okay, same way like we saw in the example, apprendre, it's appris, prendre, it's pris. Mes grands-parents ont pris. Okay, so mes grands-parents, third person plural. Right, third person plural, so we conjugate it for ont. Okay, we conjugate the verb avoir as ont. Ont pris régulièrement les médicaments pour le diabète. So now in negation, mes grands-parents n'ont pas pris régulièrement les médicaments pour le diabète. My grandparents did not take regularly the medicines for the diabetes. So the last sentence now. Le chirurgien. Ok, Ok, donc le chirurgien greffait un rein au malade. Okay, so le chirurgien, which means a surgeon. Okay, a surgeon. Greffer, which means to transplant. Okay, to transplant un rein au malade. Un rein, which means a kidney. Okay, so you'd have heard a kidney transplant. Okay, so a kidney transplant, it's when someone's kidney is not functioning. Okay, it's not good enough. So what they do, it's actually they transplant. So they bring from someone else. Okay, so they replace it from with someone else. So that's what transplant is. Le chirurgien greffer un rein. Rein means kidney. Au malade. Malade means sick. The patient. Okay? So voilà. So now the verb greffer, you can see it starts with G. Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams doesn't have the letter G. So it's obvious that we conjugate it with avoir. Okay? Le chirurgien a greffé. So greffé, it's ER ending verb. You cut R, add an accent. Le chirurgien a greffé un rein au malade. So the surgeon transplanted a kidney to the patient. And so in negation, le chirurgien n'a pas greffé. Oui, n'a pas greffé de rein. Un changes to de rein au malade. Right? So the surgeon did not transplant any kidney to the patient. So now we'll see the answers. Here we go. Le pharmacien n'a pas demandé d'ordonnance. Le cabinet de docteur n'a pas accepté la carte de crédit. Vous n'avez pas eu de courbature. Mes grands-parents n'ont pas pris régulièrement les médicaments pour le diabète. Le chirurgien n'a pas greffé de rein au malade. So hope it's fine. Write it neatly. So we'll move to the next. Here. The second exercise, it's really simple. Mettez les verbes au passé composé. Okay, so there is no negation. So the verbs are already conjugated in present. Okay, you just got to check the which is the verb, and then you conjugate it directly with the passé composé. Okay, so the first sentence, j'achète un thermomètre. I buy a thermometer. So when you conjugate it in passé composé, the verb acheter, okay, it starts with a. Arriver, aller should be conjugated with être, not acheter. So acheter will be conjugated with avoir. J'ai acheté un thermomètre. I bought a thermometer. So acheter comes with an accent at the last. Okay, so you got to remove that accent which is placed in the first E. Okay, in the past participle, there is no accent in the first E, just there will be an accent aigu over the last E. J'ai acheté un thermomètre. I bought a thermometer. The second one, le docteur regarde les fleurs. The doctor looks at the flowers. So regarder, it's the verb. So are, it's not with être. Okay, so because Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams will be rentrer, revenir, retourner. Okay, so those verbs will be with être, not regarder. So regarder will be conjugated with avoir. Le docteur a regardé les fleurs. So regarder, it's a ER ending verb. Oui, past participle, it's regarder, accent aigu. Le docteur a regardé les fleurs. So third one, vous choisissez un bon hôpital. You choose a good hospital. Vous choisissez un bon hôpital. So the verb, it's actually choisir, which is conjugated in present tense, IR ending verb. So now the past participle of choisir, it's choisi. Okay, you just cut R, CHOISI will be the past participle. And Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams, I don't think there's a C, so we'll be conjugating with avoir. So vous avez choisi un bon hôpital. Oui, vous avez choisi un bon hôpital. So the last before one, nous faisons un régime. Nous faisons un régime, which means we are doing a diet or we are following a diet. Oui, so nous faisons. The verb, it's faire. The verb, it's faire, F-A-I-R-E, F-A-I-R-E. So the past participle is fait, F-A-I-T. Okay, and Dr. Mrs. Van der Trumps, we don't have any F letter, so this is actually with avoir. Nous avons fait un régime. Okay, we followed a diet, we did the diet. Okay, voilà. So the last one, il souffre souvent de la migraine. Il souffre souvent de la migraine. Okay, so he often suffers cause of migraine. Okay, so migraine, so a headache, right? Okay, so voilà. Il souffre souvent de la migraine. So souffre, it's actually to suffer. Okay, souffrir, the verb. Souffrir, pardon. Souffrir, it's the verb. So which is to suffer. So you conjugate it with avoir. Okay, so Dr. Mrs. Van der Trumps. So the last S stands for the pronominal verbs which start with se. Okay, not souffrir. Okay, so il a souffert. Okay, so il a souffert. S-O-U-F-F-E-R-T. Okay, S-O-U-F-F-E-R-T will be the past participle. So il a souffert souvent. Il a souvent souffert de la migraine. Oui. Voilà, so il a souvent souffert de la migraine. So in passé composé, now we'll see the answers. So the heading is cut. Bien. So j'ai acheté un thermomètre. Le docteur a regardé les fleurs. Vous avez choisi un bon hôpital. Nous avons fait un régime. Il a souvent souffert de la migraine. So the third one, the third exercise now. Faites des phrases en mettant les verbes au passé composé. So again in passé composé. So they are given an example. Mon ami consulte un médecin. Mon ami a consulté un médecin. Okay, so you just got to join these two sentences. Okay, using passé composé. Okay, it's quite simple. So the example is my friend consulted a doctor. Okay, so the first one, ma mère a acheté un cachet d'aspirine. Okay, so ma mère a acheté un cachet d'aspirine. So ma mère, my mom, acheté, we just saw. Okay, a acheté, ma mère a acheté un cachet d'aspirine. Un cachet d'aspirine, un cachet means a sachet. Okay, so a packet or a sachet. D'aspirine, aspirin, that's actually the aspirin, the same word. Okay, painkiller or the GTA's cheat code, I think. Voilà. So ma mère a acheté un cachet d'aspirine. So you just got to conjugate the verb acheter in passé composé. So that's it. So the second one, l'enfant refusait de prendre les médicaments. So the child denies, okay, refuses to take the medicines. Okay. So refuser. So even this verb, it's not part of Dr. Mrs. Van der Trumps. Okay, just the verb rentrer, retourner, revenir are. Okay, so here it's actually with avoir. L'enfant a refusé. L'enfant a refusé de prendre les médicaments. Okay, the child refused to take the medicines. Okay, so a refusé. So third one, vous prendre un rendez-vous pour une prise de sang. So prendre un rendez-vous, which means to take an appointment. To take an appointment. Pour une prise de sang, okay, for a blood test. Prise de sang, which means a blood test. Prise de sang. So prendre, we already saw. Vous avez pris un rendez-vous. Vous avez pris un rendez-vous pour une prise de sang. For a blood test. So the last before one, le docteur regardait les analyses médicales du malade. So le docteur, the doctor, regardait, to watch, to look, les analyses médicales. Les analyses médicales, which means the medical report. Okay, the medical report of the patient. Du malade means of the patient. So le docteur a regardé les analyses médicales du malade. So the doctor saw the medical report of the patient. So the last one, Tu ne pas comprendre l'ordonnance du docteur. So now it's given a negation. Ne pas comprendre. Okay, tu ne pas comprendre l'ordonnance du docteur. So the verb comprendre should be conjugated with avoir. Okay, and the past participle is compris. So tu n'as pas compris l'ordonnance du docteur. Okay, tu n'as pas compris l'ordonnance du docteur, which means you did not understand the prescription of the doctor. Okay, you did not understand the prescription of the doctor. So now we'll see the answers here. Ma mère a acheté un cachet d'aspirine. L'enfant a refusé de prendre les médicaments. Vous avez pris un rendez-vous pour une prise de sang. Le docteur a regardé les analyses médicales du malade. Tu n'as pas compris l'ordonnance du docteur. Oui. So hope you have taken notes. Okay, so if you have finished writing, you can send a picture. So that's it for today. We'll continue with imparfait the next class. Okay, so take care guys, be safe.